exactly 2 p.m., my husband stretched his hand toward me. Just a gentle touch on my arm, nothing loud, nothing dramatic. But I pushed it away. I didn't shout. I didn't fight. I simply pushed his hand off me and turned my back like he meant nothing. If only I knew. If only someone had whispered in my ear, "Mary, that touch is his last." Because 3 hours later, I was kneeling on the cold hospital floor, screaming his name, begging God to reverse time, wishing for just one more chance to hold that same hand I pushed away. But let me take you back, because this story did not start at the hospital. It started long before I ever imagined regret could destroy a person's heart. And as I tell you this story, I want you to remember one thing. Pride is sweet only for a moment, but regret can choke you for life. Now, let me take you to the beginning. My name is Mary, and I was the kind of woman who thought winning an argument was more important than winning peace. My husband, Andrew, was the opposite. Calm like quiet water, gentle like morning sun, and always smiling like life had no problems at all. Sometimes I used to wonder if he swallowed a radio because that man could hum all day. Andrew's biggest hobby was touching me. Not in a bad way, just small touches. A tap on the shoulder. A gentle rub on my back. His hand on my waist when passing. His fingers brushing mine when he wanted my attention. But me, I didn't grow up with all that softness. My father was a talk now, love later kind of man. My mother was, I won't say sorry even if you pay me. So affection always felt strange to me, almost irritating. One day, Andrew tapped me and I snapped. Must you touch me every minute? Can't you talk like a normal human being? He laughed and said, Sorry, touch is my love language. I rolled my eyes. That was our life, my sharp tongue and his soft smile. One particular morning, he made breakfast, burnt toast, too much butter, and tea so sugary it could wake the dead. He proudly placed it in front of me like he had just cooked for the Queen of England. I looked at the plate, then looked at his excited face, then back at the plate. Andrew, who did you cook this one for, me or the ants? He laughed. I didn't. But he didn't get angry. That man never got angry at anything, except maybe when I tried to throw away his old, torn socks. Those socks had followed us since our wedding day. He said they had history. I said they had holes. His laughter, his calm spirit, everyone loved him. Except me. Not because I didn't love him, but because sometimes when a person is too good, you take them for granted. That morning, after the burnt toast incident, he kissed my forehead. I wiped it off. He tapped my shoulder. I shrugged it away. Meanwhile, deep inside me, I loved him more than anything but the outside of me. The outside of me was too stubborn to show it. A few hours later, while he was on his way to work, he called me. Mary, don't forget I love you, he said. Okay, sure. My voice was dry, like I was allergic to affection. Later that afternoon, around 1:55 p.m., he came home early. I was in the living room, pretending to be busy on my phone. He walked in with the same tired but warm smile he always carried. He held a small paper bag. Mary, he said softly. I didn't look at him. Ahem. At 2 p.m. exactly, he said, checking the clock and smiling. I want to give you something. I rolled my eyes again. Andrew, what are you doing? Is this another one of your surprises? He giggled, an actual giggle like a child. Just wait. Then the clock struck 2 p.m. He stepped behind me and gently touched my shoulder, soft, warm, familiar. I pushed him away instantly. Andrew, stop. I'm not in the mood. Can you just let me be? He sighed quietly, not angry, not sad, just a soft sigh like he understood me even better than I understood myself. He placed the small paper bag on the table. When you're ready, open it, he murmured. He walked out. I didn't know he would never walk back in. But life has a way of saving its loudest slap for the moment your pride is highest. Because the next thing I heard, was the sound of my phone ringing violently. A number I didn't recognize. A stranger's voice. And words that froze my blood. "Ma, your husband, please come quickly." My heart dropped. What happened? Was he okay? Where was he? Why was a stranger calling me? I ran outside, confused, scared, shaking. My mind was racing. My chest was tight. I sprinted down the street like a mad woman, my slippers almost flying off my feet. My heart was beating so loud I could hear it in my ears. The stranger on the phone had only said one thing clearly. "Please come quickly." That was enough to scatter my mind into 1,000 pieces. I didn't know what I was running toward. I didn't know what I was about to see. All I knew was that something was wrong, terribly, painfully wrong. People were gathered at the junction, forming a tight circle. Nigerians love crowd, but this one felt different. The air was heavy. Nobody was talking loudly. Nobody was shouting. It was the kind of silence that makes your chest tight. I pushed through the crowd, my hands shaking, my lips dry, my legs weak. Then I saw him. Andrew. My husband. My gentle, smiling, always humming husband. He was lying on the floor, his eyes half closed, one side of his shirt stained with dust, his hand stretched out as if trying to grab something or someone. I froze. My legs refused to move. My mouth opened, but no sound came out. It was like my soul left my body for a few seconds. A man held my shoulder. "Auntie, na your husband. He faint for road." Faint? No. No. My Andrew didn't faint, he never fainted. He was strong, he was healthy, he was my rock. But there he was, breathing, but struggling. His chest rose and fell sharply like someone was squeezing his lungs. I fell to my knees immediately and held his face. His skin felt cold, not normal cold, scary cold. Andrew, talk to me." My voice cracked. His lips moved, barely. I leaned closer. He whispered, "Mary, sorry." Sorry. No, he wasn't the one who should be saying sorry. If anyone should apologize, it was me. Me, the woman who pushed his hand away. Me, the woman who gave pride more room in our home than love. Me, the woman who didn't even open his small paper bag. Before I could speak, an Okada driver shouted, "Carry him, go hospital, no time." 2 men lifted Andrew gently. I held his hand as we rushed to the closest clinic. His fingers were weak inside mine, like he was holding on to life by a thread. Inside the clinic, everything felt too bright, too slow, too unreal. Nurses were talking, but I couldn't hear them. A doctor asked a question, but I couldn't answer. My brain was frozen in one thought. Please, God, please don't take him from me. They carried him inside a room and shut the door. A nurse told me to wait outside. Wait. How do you wait when your whole world is on the other side of a door? I paced the hallway, tears pouring from my eyes like rainwater from a broken roof. My throat hurt from crying. My legs shook. My mind replayed everything I had done wrong, every time I embarrassed him, every time I shouted at him, every time I ignored his love. Especially the moment, 2 p.m. The moment he touched me. And I pushed him away. And now all I wanted was one more tap on my shoulder. One more gentle touch. Even one more burnt toast. I pressed my hands together and prayed harder than I had ever prayed in my life. God, please, I don't need anything. I don't want money, I don't want joy, I don't want anything. Just give me my husband back. Minutes felt like hours. Every time the door opened, I jumped, but it was always a nurse walking past. My mind went back to the small paper bag he had dropped on the table at home. What was inside? Why did he say 2 p.m. exactly? Why did he want to touch me at that moment? And why didn't I just let him? As I sat there crying, something funny and painful hit me at the same time. Andrew had been planning a surprise for me. A gentle man. A thoughtful man. A man who still brought me gifts, even after I gave him attitude. I laughed and cried at the same time. It wasn't a happy laugh. It was the kind of laugh that comes out when your heart is breaking, but you can't hold everything inside anymore. A nurse walked past and stared at me like I was running mad. Well, maybe heartbreak is a kind of madness. Then suddenly, the doctor opened the door. My heart dropped straight to my stomach. He looked at me with a strange expression. Not angry. Not calm. Just serious. "Madam, please come inside." That sentence felt like a hammer in my chest. I followed him into the room. Andrew was lying on the bed, oxygen tubes on his nose, eyes closed. Machines beeped around him. His chest rose and fell slowly, like life was leaving him in small pieces. My legs weakened. I grabbed a chair before I fell. "What happened?" I whispered. The doctor sighed. He had a heart attack. My own heart stopped. Heart attack, but he's young, he's healthy. The doctor shook his head. These things don't always show signs. Sometimes stress triggers it. Stress. That word hit me like a slap. Who stressed him more than me? Who argued with him? Who shouted? Who refused to show love? Me. The doctor continued. "We're trying our best, but his condition is critical." Critical. That word broke something inside me. I held his hand, the same hand I pushed away earlier, and pressed it to my face. "Andrew, please don't leave me," I cried. I'm so sorry, I'll do better. I'll change. I'll love you the way you deserve. Just open your eyes, please." My tears fell on his hand. It felt too still. Too cold. The nurse came to adjust his oxygen mask. I felt my whole world shaking. Then suddenly, the machine beside him started beeping faster. Loud. Sharp. Alarming. The doctor rushed forward. The nurse grabbed equipment. "Madam, please wait outside," the doctor shouted. No, let me stay, Andrew," I screamed. The nurse pulled me out and shut the door. I began banging on the door like a crazy person, shouting his name, crying so loudly that even people outside the clinic turned to look. I fell to the floor. Helpless. Terrified. Broken. I didn't know if I would ever see his eyes open again. And right there, in that hallway, something inside me shattered completely. Because I remembered his last whisper. The last thing he said before he collapsed on the road. "Mary, sorry." He was apologizing. Apologizing to me. When I was the one who should have apologized all these years. As I cried uncontrollably, one heavy truth hit me harder than anything. Pride doesn't just destroy relationships. It steals moments you can never get back. Moments like the last touch of the person you love. And then, the door opened again. The doctor stepped out. And the look on his face told me something terrible had just happened. The doctor didn't speak immediately. He didn't need to. The look on his face was already screaming 1,000 things my heart refused to accept. His shoulders were low. His eyes were soft. His lips were pressed together the way people do when they're about to deliver news that can break a soul. I stood up slowly from the cold hospital floor. My legs were shaking so badly, they almost gave way. My lips trembled as I forced out a whisper. "Doctor, please, tell me he's okay, please." The doctor took a deep breath. "Madam, we did everything we could." No. No. Not that line. Not that terrible line people say in movies when someone is gone forever. Not that sentence that sounds like the door closing on hope. My chest tightened. My ears rang. The hallway felt like it was spinning. But he's still alive, right? My voice cracked so badly, it barely sounded human. The doctor slowly shook his head. We tried resuscitating him, but his heart couldn't respond. My whole world collapsed. Everything around me suddenly went quiet. No sounds. No movement. Just silence, thick, heavy, painful silence. I blinked slowly, hoping the tears would stop, hoping my ears were lying, hoping I was dreaming the worst nightmare of my life. The doctor placed a hand on my shoulder. "I'm sorry, madam, your husband didn't make it." Something inside me shattered loudly. So loudly, I felt the whole hallway vibrate from the force of that single moment. A sharp cry escaped my throat before I could stop it. "No, Andrew, no, please, please wake up." I ran into the room before the nurse could stop me. Ran to his bed. Ran to the body that still looked like him, but somehow didn't. His face was peaceful. His lips were slightly parted. His eyes were closed like he was only sleeping and would wake up to tease me about crying. I grabbed his face with both hands and shook him gently. "Andrew, please get up. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I'll do anything, just wake up." But he didn't move. Didn't smile. Didn't open his eyes. His chest was still. His hand, oh God, his hand felt colder than it had ever felt. I cried from a place deep inside me. The kind of cry that breaks ribs. The kind of cry that makes you forget how to breathe. The kind of cry that leaves you empty afterward. A nurse tried to pull me away, but I clung to him like my life depended on it. "Please," I begged. "I didn't mean to push your hand. I didn't know it was your last touch. Andrew, please, I'll change. I'll love you the right way. I'll say sorry every day. Just give me one more chance, please." But my tears were the only thing running. Nothing else moved. After a long time, minutes, hours, I don't know, the doctor gently removed my hands from his body. "We need to prepare him," he said softly. "Prepare him. Prepare him." For what? For burial. For cold earth. For leaving me alone. I walked out of the room like a ghost, stumbling, breathless, numb. The hallway looked different. Smaller. Darker. Colder. People stared at me with pity, but I didn't see them clearly. Everything felt blurry, like the whole world was covered in water. A nurse handed me Andrew's belongings. His wallet. His wristwatch. His phone. And the small paper bag he had carried. I held the paper bag with trembling hands. It was light. Too light for something that now felt heavy with meaning. Inside was a neatly wrapped tiny box. I opened it slowly, my tears dripping onto the paper. Inside the box was a bracelet. A simple silver bracelet with my name engraved on it. Mary, my heart. My chest tightened so hard I almost collapsed again. There was also a small folded note. With shaking fingers, I opened it. His handwriting, calm, neat, those small letters he always wrote when he was excited, covered the page. Mary. Today marks exactly 10 years since we met at the bus stop. I remember how you didn't even look at me. You were angry at the sun, angry at the mosquitoes, and angry at the world. But that day I saw something in you, something strong, something beautiful. I'm giving you this at exactly 2 p.m., because that's the moment you first spoke to me all those years ago. You asked for the time. You didn't smile, but you looked at me. And I knew you were going to be my wife one day. I love you, Mary. Even when you frown. Even when you push me away. Even when you roll your eyes. You are my heart. I pressed the note to my chest and sobbed until my whole body shook. Andrew had died with love in his heart. I had lived with pride in mine. And now he was gone. Forever. The next few days were a blur. People came to the house with condolences. Some cried loudly. Some hugged me. Some whispered, "Take heart." Some cooked and brought food I couldn't even taste. But the house felt empty. The bedroom felt empty. The entire world felt empty. I stopped sleeping. Stopped eating. Stopped talking. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his hand reaching for me at 2 p.m. Every time I sat alone, I heard his soft voice saying, "Mary, sorry." Every time I looked at the bracelet, I felt a new wave of pain. I became a shadow of myself. One afternoon, while sitting in the living room doing nothing, I saw Andrew's picture on the center table. His smile was so wide, so full of joy, I almost got angry just looking at it. "How can you smile like that?" I whispered to the photo. "How can you leave me?" I laughed a little, broken, messy laughter. Then cried again. Regret does that to a person. It turns your heart into a battlefield where memories fight with guilt every day. But it didn't stop there. People began whispering behind my back, saying things like, "She no even treat the husband well. That man loved her too much. She too proud, see where it put her." Normally, my pride would have made me fight back, would have made me defend myself, would have made me shout. But I didn't have strength for pride anymore. Life had beaten it out of me. All I wanted was Andrew back. But dead people don't return. Dead people don't get second chances. Dead people don't tap your shoulder at 2 p.m. again. And then, just when I thought things couldn't get worse, someone knocked on my door. Not softly, not gently, but loudly, 3 sharp knocks that made my heart jump. I slowly stood up, wiped my face, and opened the door. And when I saw who it was, my breath left my body. Because standing in front of me was someone who carried news that would change everything I thought I knew about Andrew's death. Someone who didn't look sad. Someone who didn't look like they came to console me. They came with a purpose. And their first words were, "Mary, sit down. There's something you need to know about what happened that day." I stood frozen at the doorway. The person in front of me wasn't a neighbor. Not a family member. Not even someone who looked like they came for sympathy. It was Andrew's closest friend, Michael. Michael, the quiet one, the serious one, the one who never joked even when Andrew teased him. The man who always analyzed everything like life was a math equation. He looked different today. Troubled, focused, almost angry. "Mary," he said again, "sit down." My knees softened. I stepped back slowly and let him in. He entered the living room and stood there for a moment, staring at Andrew's framed photo on the table. He swallowed hard. Then he turned to me. "What I'm about to tell you, you won't take it well," he said. My heart skipped. "What is it?" My voice came out weak, like a cracked whisper. Michael took a deep breath and sat down across from me. "I know you blame yourself for what happened," he said quietly. "Everyone thinks he just collapsed on the road. Everyone thinks it was just stress or accident or sudden illness." He paused. "But that's not the full story." My breathing stopped for a second. "What do you mean?" I asked. Michael looked straight into my eyes. "Andrew didn't just collapse. Someone stressed him. Someone pushed him to that edge. And he was coming home to tell you about it." My chest tightened. "What are you saying? Who? Why?" Michael rubbed his hands together. It was clear he was struggling with the weight of the story. "It started at his office," he said. "That morning before he came home at 2 p.m., something happened. Something very serious." I leaned forward, my heart pounding. "Michael, please, talk." He nodded. Andrew got into a heated argument with his supervisor. I blinked. Andrew, an argument with who? That man hated trouble. Michael nodded. "I know, but that day was different. His supervisor accused him of something terrible, something he didn't do, and he threatened to sack him." What did he accuse him of?" Michael's jaw tightened. "He accused Andrew of stealing company money." My hands flew to my mouth. "Steal, Andrew? No, he would never." "I know," Michael said quickly. "Everyone who knew him knows, but the supervisor had already prepared the report. He planned to submit it that same evening." My heart was beating so loud, it felt like it would fall out of my chest. "So Andrew left work to come home early. He wanted to tell you everything, wanted to show you the documents, wanted to tell you he might lose his job. I swallowed, my throat burning. But he didn't tell me anything, I whispered. He came in smiling, carrying a gift bag. He didn't look worried. That's because he didn't want you to worry, Michael said softly. He told me he was scared, terrified, but he said he wanted to talk to you first before reacting. My lips trembled. The guilt inside me twisted deeper. He was stressed, Mary, so stressed he kept rubbing his chest. At the office, he complained of sharp pains. I told him to go to the clinic, but he said no. He needed to see you first. My heart broke again. So he left. And when he came home to give you that gift at 2 p.m., that was his way of softening the conversation he planned to have later. I felt sick. He wanted to explain everything after you opened the gift, Michael continued. He even practiced what he wanted to tell you. He said, Mary will be angry at first, but she will understand. A tear rolled down my cheek, then another. And after you pushed his hand away. Michael hesitated. I squeezed the pillow on the couch. Tell me, I whispered, please. He left the house, Michael said. He walked toward the office again. I think the stress mixed with the argument and his heart just gave up on the road. Silence. A heavy, crushing silence. I looked at the floor for a long moment, unable to speak. My tears formed a small puddle on my lap. So it wasn't just me, I whispered slowly. Michael sighed. No, Mary, it wasn't just you. Yes, you pushed him away, but you didn't kill him. His heart was already under pressure. He was already in pain. Life had already beaten him that morning. He leaned forward. He loved you. That man loved you more than anything. Even with everything happening, the only place he wanted to go was home. To you. I covered my face with my hands and cried. Deep, shaking cries that made my shoulders tremble. Michael stood up and put a hand on my shoulder. I didn't tell you this earlier because I didn't want to make things worse, but I can't watch you destroy yourself with guilt anymore. I nodded slowly, tears streaming. But before I could speak, Michael said something that shocked me more than everything else he had said today. That supervisor, he said, is trying to cover up what he did. He doesn't want the company to know he falsely accused Andrew. He doesn't want anyone to find out he pushed him mentally to that point. My eyes widened. What? Michael nodded. And Mary, he wants to shut the case quickly. He's planning something that affects you too. I frowned. What do you mean? Michael stepped back, his face tight with seriousness. He wants to claim Andrew confessed before he died. He wants to make it look like Andrew admitted to stealing. If he succeeds, it means the company will take legal action against his name. My breath caught. Legal action against a dead man. Yes, Michael said. And if they do that, you won't receive his benefits, his pension, or anything. They'll say he was guilty, and everything he worked for will disappear. I felt my stomach drop. No, Andrew didn't steal from anyone. Michael nodded firmly. I know, but if we don't act fast, they will ruin his name. My hands clenched into fists. But what can we do? Michael looked around the room, lowered his voice, and said, I have evidence, documents, messages, everything that proves Andrew was innocent. He told me to hold it in case anything happened. My jaw dropped. He trusted you that much. Michael nodded. He trusted you more. He said, if anything goes wrong, make sure Mary knows the truth. More tears rolled down my cheeks. Michael continued, I've kept the evidence safe, but now someone found out I have it. They're trying to get it, and they will do anything to stop the truth from coming out. My heart started to race faster. Who, I whispered, who's trying to stop you? Michael took a slow breath. The supervisor, and maybe 1 or 2 people behind him. They want to protect themselves. Michael, this is dangerous. I know, he said. My hands shook. My mind raced. My heart pounded. Everything suddenly felt bigger than my grief. This was no longer just about loss. No longer just about regret. No longer just about pride. This was about injustice. About betrayal. About fighting for the man I loved, fighting for the truth he died with. Michael looked me straight in the eyes. Mary, I need you to be strong, because the next steps won't be easy, and before anything else. He paused. You need to see the evidence yourself. I nodded slowly, breathing heavily. He reached into his bag and pulled out a large brown envelope. This, he said quietly, is everything Andrew couldn't tell you that day. I stared at the envelope, fear and determination wrestling inside me. What's inside here will change everything you thought you knew, Michael said. He placed the envelope on the table. But just as I reached out to open it, a loud bang hit my front door. Not a knock. Not a visitor. A loud, violent kick. The kind that comes from someone who isn't here to talk, but to stop something. Michael's face went pale. Mary, he whispered, someone followed me. The door shook again. Open this door now, a male voice shouted from outside. My blood ran cold. Michael grabbed my hand. Mary, listen to me. Don't open that door, no matter what happens. The banging grew louder. More aggressive. More dangerous. My heart raced. My palms sweated. My whole body trembled. This wasn't just about Andrew's death anymore. Someone out there was trying to hide the truth. And they were right at my door. Thanks for watching. Kindly drop your comment about this video. And please subscribe to this channel for more interesting stories.